Hello everyone. I'm gonna quickly show you how the commands of the new moderation bot works. Similar to who is, which reveals the roles and the permissions. Also the join and register date. We can use that with an exclamation. If I just do that, it should show the same thing, but it also gives you a link with a veteran banner. Nothing too fancy, but yeah. And you can also use that, for example, um, for someone. For example, let's take this number. Let me do who is. It's a random user ID. Okay, it's not a random user ID. It's my alt's user ID. So the difference here is that it shows their last action. I think that they have been warned last, and it also shows their mod logs right here. You can also next pages. You see lots of testing numbers. I think. Yeah, this doesn't get updated, but you see as I'm doing this is getting updated. Okay, that's one of the thing, one of the alternatives, and all the punishment ones like warn, mute, unmute, kick, ban, all work the same way it's supposed to do. Just instead of the question mark one, you do exclamation one, and yeah, you add the user ID, you do the reason. So let me just copy that and try it out. So as you say, you get the one is done, it logs, should log right here. Yep, so now it has logged. It also gives you a case ID, which I'll get to it later. It shows the moderator, and there's a duration thing in the warn, which I would say not to use. I don't see the point of using a duration in the midst of a warn. And here you go, warn, then there's mute. You do need to specify time, I think, right here. Like, let me do 10 minutes. I think the another feature that it has is that it also times out natively. So let me go to their account. Let me search from okay, it doesn't really show here. So what I can do is copy user ID. Oh, still doesn't show. Okay. For example, my search is not working. So yeah, it's working again. Okay. So now you can see that it shows the timeout thing from just doing the command. Like, you don't have to, yeah, it's very easy. And we have had multiple issues with channels not being able to pick up the mute, which it should do right now because it's just a global native timeout applies as well. I have some notes. Yep, it gives the muted role plus times them out natively, and if I unmute them, let me unmute. Unmute. Okay, I need to provide the reason. That's a mistake, and it should, both of them should go away. Let me do a refresh. Still hasn't gone away. Let me jump to the message, and it has gone away. So it's kind of convenient rather than how it used to be. Also, yes, we can change the durations of a mute after a command has done. Like, we don't have to unmute them and mute them again, but I'll get to that later because it relates to the whole case thing it has. We got one, we got mute, we also covered unmute. Yeah, we can also do kick. Kick works the same way it should be, just use the exclamation. They should be kicked. Okay, here's the ban. Let me try banning. Let me try banning them. Yeah, okay. This is just a test message. And they're now banned from the server, and let's see how it works. Yeah, it still shows permanent. It shows the duration here. Maybe it can be useful sometimes, but I would say not to use duration at all during bans. And if you're wondering how the command works, you can just do. It should show you the thing like ban user, duration, reason, and R. And I'll get to the /R a bit later. So these are all normal as it should be. Might be wondering about appeals and how it would work. Let me quickly go over to the. Let me quickly go over. So this is how the users would get the thing. They would get the case ID for warn, mute, and ban. The way appeal would work if you follow this link is that it's a different form, but it has this thing, what is your case ID, and if you fill that up, let me just test it. Okay, let me see if it actually went through. Oh, it's from my account, but okay. I think it's gonna be hard to. I'll test this again. I'll test this again later because I don't think it would really work. Since it's, yeah, it has to go through with the thing, but I think it should work. And the way it's set up is like it's the very same thing, but the appeal is gonna be handled by Dino, and even though it has been moderated by, you can say, Sapphire. And Deadpool with almost there. Let me go back to my channel. Here I am. Okay, the appeal should work, but I'm still gonna do a test after the finish the recording. Okay, here's a cool feature it has is that for every ban, it stores the messages for last 30 minutes, even though the ban goes away from the, for the messages goes away from the server. Like, let me show you how it would work. You can only find it in the dashboard, and yeah, I still haven't decided who's gonna have the permissions to view the cases. It's probably gonna be junior admin for now. So let's just find something that's actually real. On Dino, this one feels like a real something. Okay, so if I go to message user, like message history, right? Like I can see their messages logged here. So up to 5 messages per channel, up to 24 hours old. So sometimes we ban people and we just wonder where did the message go. So on the cool feature, it has that it stores all the messages up to 30 minutes from the ban. And yeah, you can see other things here. This is how the cases work. These are all separate cases, and you'll see a lot of them, and that was just me testing it. But I'll get to it a bit later. I think we have covered the ban. Yeah, the duration thing I've said, appeal, which I tried to test, but you have to change my account and test it. The unban. Let me try unban. Let's put M. It should also show who it was. Let me go to the account. I think it doesn't give you a message for done ban, which is okay, because they're not in the server, so it's hard to do. I can join back. Not here. Not here. So that worked. We covered unban. Let me load it. Okay. Okay, let's go to case and how cases would work. And my Discord is now being a bit slow. Let me scroll through. Yeah, okay, I found it. Okay, like if I just do case, right? Just case. It will show the case of the last command we did without any ID. Like the last one was I did a ban, which was closed because I unbanned them. So every case has a closed and open thing. Like, but it's a bit confusing because for warnings, right, which I was trying to figuring out that what's the point of closing a case. So what happens when you close a case is that they get unwarned, but it really doesn't matter because the cases would always, like, for example, right, this is my alt, or this is like an user you're experiencing, you want to see all the cases they have. You can just do cases, yeah, with the S, and it's just case, and it will show you all the cases they have, I think, or it is all it can show. And yeah, and you can also do the who is command, which I said earlier, to view each and every cases. So what is the case? I think every time you do a punishment, it opens the case, whether it's a warn or a mute or like a ban. And what it does is in the logs is that once you unban someone or unmute someone, like you see this is the case ID, and when you unmute them, it doesn't open another case, it just closes that case. Something like, it's a bit complicated, I understand, but kind of pointless in some things, but it is all like it's something they have, I would say. And okay, so it has duration, proof, notes, and all the necessary info. So this is the case that has been opened. So what I can do is, let me do it here again. Okay, so this is the case it has opened. You see this thing called proof. What we can do is, it's very similar to what we have here. It's called watchers. For example, this is like a proof for a warn I'm doing. Okay, so suppose I saw this and I want to warn them based on this. So I can just copy the link here, and what we can do is I can add that here. If I just add that here, and I can also edit the reason here, and I can also add a note. And there's a fun part is, like, every moderator can add a note of their own, so it can have that one user might have multiple notes from multiple moderators, but I think you can only add one. But what you can do is maybe do one spamming to not listening for the later times. These two things will not be shared with the user, which I'll show you. But if you change, suppose for example, let me change the it won't really work because it's closed case, but in an open case, if I change the reason, it changed as well. So now you see it has a link one, which should link me to right there, right in the thing. So let me just do the case again. And now you see it just shows it right here. Next time if someone comes along and see what exactly they did wrong, you don't have to find something from watchers to view exactly what they did wrong. And sometimes I think what would happen is, like, people for example, if you're banning someone real quick, and it can very well happen that their messages might be deleted before you link them. So I would suggest using the log, like using a message link to the logs. We also have new logs, which I'll get to it a bit later. Okay, so far let me go back to my notes. Yeah, it's like more logs but advanced. Yes, you can edit reason proof and add moderator. Now let me try changing a reason. Okay, where is the one command? Okay, for example, I want someone based on this, and it has went through. What I can do is that this is the case ID. I can just do slash exclamation case, or I can do, which should open up the same case, the last case I did, or I can put it here if I'm looking for like this case, right? If I just do this case, it should open up the previous case. So you only use the case ID when you want to open a specific case or a case from before, and every time you want them, you should get a case ID. And how do you find a case ID, right? For example, you're looking for emitter's case ID, or like for this user's case ID, you just do cases, or you do the whole thing. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to change the warn message. We're going to do with hostility towards member, ignoring warnings, and something. Okay, let's just leave it right there. You can also add the proof and note on duration, which I would say not to use duration for warnings. Once I do this, then it will prompt me about notify user about the update. I would always say if you're changing the reason, you should always notify the user, because otherwise it's kind of pointless. So I would say notify user and edit the case. Now the case has changed. Like if I do the same thing again, let me see if it works. Do just case, which should open the latest case. Yep, it does the repeated warning, hostility, ignoring warnings, and let me check with my alt how it went. So this is when I first got warned, and it shows case updated, new reason, and this it communicates openly, which is kind of nice than what we had before, because we could have no other way to change reason or change mute duration, which works in a very similar way. And there's a fun part is it shows that users notified once you have done the thing. Okay, yes, always use notify users for a reason. You can always do case list. It just shows all cases that has been open. I think it just shows the 15 cases it can find. I think it just shows the latest 15, and to view all of them, I think you'd have to go to the dashboard, but I don't think it's really needed to see all of them. But yeah, cases user ID, which I have shown you before. Yeah, which I've shown you before. You just do cases, it shows all their cases. And also fun part, you can also do your own. So for example, my user ID, right? Then it would show how many cases have I opened, not the cases opened on me. Like this is all cases opened. This is all cases. For example, let me find this one. Copy, not copy ID. Let me just copy the text, and if I do case entity, it will show it created by me, and this is the reason, this is the time I did. It should show when I did the thing. It shows I did that at 3:56 p.m. and yeah, don't use the close button, because it closes the case, but it will prompt you about the reason why are you closing the case. And suppose for example I close the case, right? They have changed. they have changed, and I submit it. What to do is it shows that on one reason they have changed. It's showing an error at the moment. Some unknown version actions not executed. Users have multiple open ones. Yes, it's probably due to like I have literally spammed warned for my alt to test the bot. Yep. Okay, so you see a user is timed out, and how do you find out who they are? I think I've explained to you a couple of times. You just go to their name. For example, let me just find someone in the main chat at the moment. For example, I find Supe, and what I do is I think the better option, easier option, which I would prefer is just do a who is on, which would show if they have any open cases. It should show here, like it did with my alts, and yeah, you can get to it right there, like that, or you can also do cases, which should show the cases. It should only show the cases, but the part I don't like about this is that it doesn't show like for example this. It doesn't show like the warn or ban, but you have to like guess that with the emoji. Like the hammer is ban, this is a mute, and this is a warning, but it doesn't outright show it. Other than that, and yeah, about the proof thing, I have touched on a little bit, like here. You can add a proof before, like after you have warned them. For example, let me do something fun. First, let me find my alt again, and let me copy this message link. And what I can do is warn, copy user ID, and like peeking through the window, right? Peeking through the window. And what I can do is I can use the command which I just showed you a little bit before, which is minus I think /r. What it would do is it would prompt you with a review punishment, which would open up the case EY, where you can just, for example, I can just, not this one, but I can just do, never mind, Microsoft Teams bothering me again. Okay, this is done. I can also add a note. Second time they are doing this. Oh, maybe it's probably going to be third time. Just keep peeking through. Oh, okay. I used the wrong command because it's my command. It should be Roma. Copy author ID. Let me get this fixed. And I do review punishment. I provide the link here, and I'm done. It has warned them, but did it? Then I had this question like, did they send the thing to them or not? You see the link is added right here, and even if you view their case right now, for example, just do case, it should show the link right there. You can also edit the link afterwards, and you can also change the reason, duration, and thing. It's the same goes for mute. You can also change the duration for mute afterwards. I haven't tested that out, but I will be testing that out, how that works. Okay, let me go back. Okay, what we can also do is, like for example this, I can also use the command set proof, like it's here, set proof, then I have to use the case ID, then I can just, for example, this is the proof, and I use this. Now it has updated, Now if I just click this, it shows right here. Like this is the message. The reason it happened, the verified proof is something not related. It's not something you have to pay attention to. It's related to auto mode they have. Okay, there's something. Don't use the dash R thing. And so what I use this on that opens up the UI. You can do that with everything. For example, if I just change that to a mute, 10 minutes, it still pops up, and you can do what you can do is you can still do the thing. What I'm trying to say is that I would say not to use it during an ongoing matter. I think you can still do it, but it can sometimes takes a lot of time if you need to mute someone quickly. So I would just say using it without, and whenever we are using a ban of a long thing, like for example one of those well discussed bans, then I would encourage you to use it and put the discussion link right there, for example. And yeah, you can add any message links, for example this copy message link, or you can also add any picture you have. For example, let me just screenshot this part, and this part, if I just do the not copy message link, if I do copy link, this should work as well. Let me just copy the thing, set proof, and the link is copy link. Now the link has changed. Now if you do the thing, it shows you the screenshot. So yeah, you can use both of them, message link or for proof. I think I'm almost done. There's also a command called warns. Let me try warns. I don't know what happens if we do just that. Well, doesn't work. Okay, let me just copy user, copy author ID. It shows all the warnings they have received. I don't think it shows the mutes or anything. For that you have to use the cases, or you have to use the who is command. Now let me see what else there is. Now there's logging. I think there's some big changes to logging. One is that we're going to be using the Sapphire logging system for moderation actions. There's two things there is. That is that it logs every single punishment that has happened, like ban, warn, mute, even the native ones. Like if you time out them, it would still log it here, but it won't log the dino ones. I think it would log, but it won't really properly show. Let me see if I can find any. I think yeah, that's the thing. It just, for example, this one, it doesn't show who did it, but we have the dino logs, which we will maintain as well. We will also have two new logs. One is message logs. From now on, what we're going to do is we're going to maintain two logs. Like one would be the usual one we have, the spam logs, and we're also gonna have the message logs, because sometimes what happens is this in spam logs I see that it shows like 11 messages deleted, but it doesn't show really the contents of it. And user log, I think it's very similar to what it have. It just shows the name change and everything, so that we can track back to people. I think that's all, and it has been a long time. It has also some features like .avatar info or .banner info, which you can try. I'm gonna send you this link, send you this whole file as well. And yeah, best of luck, and let's see how it goes.